Okay, so in this video, I'm going to share with you a process to make your life a little bit easy. Now, most people like to, or at least in my experience, like to do it on a piece by piece basis. I find that it's better to map out your entire marketing process first, even if it's wrong, because things will change. That's okay. But try and get an idea about what are you going to do all the way through to repeat sales. So basically, there's about four broad categories you can work with, and there are subcategories. Some people like to split. Before leads, they'll have visitors, and then suspects, and then they'll have qualified leads and qualified sales leads and all that sort of stuff. I'm like if that's the split you want to do, then that's fine. You can do it, but I'm going to keep them in broad categories. First is the place where you get your traffic. Secondly, and then if they opt in, then they become leads of some sort, whether qualified or not, that's okay. Then when they pay you $1 or more, they become customers, and if they buy from you again, it's a repeat sales or repeat customers. And so for traffic, you're going to work out where you're going to get the traffic from. Not the most important. If it's not relevant to you on day one, that's okay. But just get some idea about where the traffic is going to come from. Either you're going to buy it, or you're going to borrow it, or you're going to steal it. And then next comes leads. So to capture the leads, you're obviously going to have either you're going to call people if it's cold calling or outbound marketing, or you're going to organize a meeting from the landing page, or they're going to give you an opt-in. The other consideration is whether you're going to have some sort of interactive or not so interactive lead magnet or a landing page where there's no interaction involved. And then comes the next phase, which is to nurture your leads through to the sale. Now, oftentimes in the online world, people like to get their lead and sell them straight away. If that's how you want to do it, that's fine. Alternatively, if the lead is worth a lot of money, then you could possibly nurture them with email or SMS, direct mail, or phone call, or even a face-to-face meeting. Next comes the offer, what kind of offers you're going to make, and then the way to make it easy for them to buy, and then easy for them to use. So this is more your sales letters come down here, the offers that you're making, and this is more your shopping cart, your checkout experience, and then that's your onboarding or the post-sale. How do you make sure that your customers end up getting value out of what they've purchased? Because if you do these things correctly or properly, then the repeat sales are assured, provided you've created enough value with this process here. Okay, so that's kind of like the broad overview. Next thing I'd like to do is kind of get a process map going. So you could have something like a traffic going to offer, going to the decision tree. You could have traffic, landing page, and then decision tree, and then the offer. Or you could have traffic, and then that goes to a decision tree, and then it's split it up into people who are going to get emails right now versus people who are going to get offer right now. You can do a combination thereof. Just get some idea about how do you want, what's the flow, the broad flow of your traffic, and how does it move through to the first sale and then to repeat sales, because that's going to dictate how aggressively you do your marketing. What are you going to do at each step? It's a process of sort of working back to the traffic from how your marketing funnel is going to look, and that tells you where to put your decision tree. And you don't have to have one decision tree. You could have many decision trees throughout the entire process. The first one could be to split them up into a group such as who's interested to buy now versus the one who wants to get into some sort of an email marketing sequence or SMS or meetings, or however you convert your leads through to your first sale. Okay, now where can you use decision trees? So the point I'm trying to make here is that you don't have to be stuck with one decision tree. You could have small decision trees split throughout your marketing process. Or you could have two big ones. You can have one at the front only. You can have one at the back. It's all up to you based on how you want to do your marketing. The point of this video is to impress upon you that you don't have to have only one. You can split it up, or you can have as many as you want. Okay, so the places there where you can use a decision tree is right at the front, which is kind of the most obvious choice. You can then use it later on during the nurturing process, and then you can also use it as an offer selector. So let's say, for example, if you've nurtured your leads enough so that they're ready to buy, but they're not quite ready, or you have multiple offers. You have a low priced offer, high priced offer, high touch offer, low touch offer. You can have all kinds of permutations and combinations that you're working with for your offer. In that case, it's going to become quite difficult for someone to make their own choice. You can make them go through a decision tree so that based on the answer selected, it automatically pops out an offer. So you don't have to use your results pages just for lead magnets. You can even put an offer on the results page. I'll be covering a bit of that in future videos, but just want to share the whole process with you now. You can also have it post sale, a decision tree post sale. So your thank you page post sale could be a decision tree where you ask them a few questions to customize a training plan for them, or customize a way for them to ease them to the consumption of the product. So for example, if you're an information marketer and you've got 55,000 videos, then it really is not going to serve you nor your customer to just say, here you go, and so they're not going to get a quick win. To get a quick win, it's better to offer them some sort of a post-sale service, and in this case, rather than doing it on a one-to-one basis, as you would if you were to buy a high-price product, you could make your decision tree act as the post-sale implementation person, and use the decision tree to come up with a way for them to quickly consume your products. Because if you don't do that, then the repeat sales are pretty much gone, and which have just destroyed a lot of value after spending all this time, effort, and energy to capture a customer. Okay, now the review, your feedback and comments. So if you already have an existing business, you could survey your existing customers, or you can go through to third parties or third-party sites such as Amazon.com, shopping sites, blog posts, comments on blog posts to get a little bit more understanding about what are the things that these people are delighted by, and then what are those things that is really annoying, or what are the pain points of the marketplace. The action step: you get out the benefits desired or attained, you get the frustrations and problems experienced, and you get the feelings that are expressed. Right, you take all that and you put that in a list. I call it the inventory of interesting facts. This I get this. Oh well, I've got this phrase from Gary Halbert. He liked to do that. Now, the interesting facts don't have to be just about pain and problems and benefits attained. That's where a lot of marketers stop. I think you can go much further than that, and you can actually find interesting facts that are auxiliary to the marketplace that allow you to then come up with some really good marketing. So an interesting fact is that most psychological research can't be replicated. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use that in a minute. Another interesting fact is that Chile has the lowest divorce rate in the world at 3%, while Belgium has the highest divorce rate at 70%. Interesting facts don't have to be a statement of fact. It could be something you derive from an image, a graphic, a study. So this one's quite interesting. It's about false correlations, basically. This one here shows that suicides by hanging, strangulation, and suffocation is fairly well correlated with U.S. spending on science. It's an interesting fact because obviously it's not true, but you could use this as a way to open up a conversation with a customer. It's oh wow, that's interesting, and it's a way to open up the conversation. The next thing, the other one I want to look at here is the number of people who drown by falling into a swimming pool. It correlates very highly with the movies that Nicolas Cage appears in. So the more movies he appears in, the more people drown in a swimming pool. Once again, it's a correlation that is not real. I mean, it's a correlation is real, but it's not a causation. So it's not like just because Nicolas Cage comes in movies, it just so happens that when you have large data sets, you're bound to find things that correlate but have no relation to each other. That's an interesting fact. All right, so how do you use these interesting facts in your marketing? Okay, so for example, a 3% divorce rate. Discover the secrets of the longest lasting relationship in the world. This could be a title or an introduction to a product on relationships, or you could have a copy that you could write for the Nicolas Cage movies, which is the did you know that more movies Nicolas Cage appears in, the greater the number of people who drown by falling into a pool. That sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? In fact, correlation is so exact that we might even want to pay Nicolas Cage to sit at home and not act ever again. Now imagine sitting at home. You can describe an aspirational goal here. Making money by not doing anything, and knowing your bank account has grown with every passing second. So I've just segued from a fact about making Nicolas Cage sit at home, which I totally made up, from an interesting fact, which was Nicolas Cage's movies and people drowning in pools. Okay, now I want to cover a few things that you should be aware of. First is a warning. Just beware of the limits of research. Results from asking can be inconsistent. Marketers bias creep in, where our views about what we want our marketing to say or what we want our research to say creeps in, and we overvalue facts that support our views, and we sort of assume that the facts that don't support our views are wrong. You have response bias as well, so people who respond are different to people who buy. That is true. There are people who like a lot on Facebook, may not necessarily be the buyers of the products on Facebook. Also, the sampling error, so you can have poor representation, as the U.S. elections showed that Hillary Clinton had a probability of 99% to win, but Trump won. Once again, there can be you can end up with biases within your research that you need to be aware of. So what's the answer? There is no holy grail of marketing. Do the research, but end of the day, you need to become like an options trader. You need to have a few bets, small ones, and seeing what sticks. Okay, so now I'm going to move over to the decision tree planner. So as you can see, the interesting facts that we came up with, and the pain and pleasure that we were able to find out about our customers. You can add those all in. And then you can categorize them into groups if you wanted to see if you're finding any specific areas that are coming up, types of things that are painful, or the aspects or the categories about your market that the target market is looking to solve. Are there any groups of problems or groups of benefits or groups of desires that people are seeking? And if you can categorize them, that's great. So now you know that this is the end result that they're kind of looking for. These are the categories that you can talk about. And then obviously I've just given it a group number just to sort of differentiate them and color coded them a little bit. Now you could use any one of these as the thing that you're going to make the lead magnet about. Okay, so you found interesting facts, and they would be something that would be of benefit if you were to find answers about them for your target market. So that's what your structure of the lead magnet would look like. You would talk about or reference the things that you discovered during a research phase, which is the interesting facts, and then the pain, pleasure, and thoughts and desires of your market. Now, that can be resolved in a few ways. First is you can have charts, you can have formulas, you can have numeric calculations, you can have custom field usage, you can have personalization, all sorts of stuff about what your market seeks. And then what you do is from there, you come up with the answers that would correlate with a question that you're going to ask. So I find that working back makes most sense. You start with basically what you're going to talk about in your lead magnet, and then you work back to the answer that you would ask to give you that part of the lead magnet. And you can also work out whether you have any custom fields that you can use, any tags that you want to use, and then you work to the question. So this is the question you ask, this is the answer you get, and then you work out what kind of question would it be. It would multiple choice, checkbox, text field, and then how would you use that in your marketing once you capture that data. Once again, we're trying to cater for the marketing process that we came up with in the PowerPoint presentation. You want to make sure that you are catering for the entire marketing process or the marketing funnel that you've mapped out. So this is the time when you make sure that your quiz or decision tree is going to do the heavy lifting and start supplementing your marketing and sales goals that you have. Okay, so then when you go work back, you have the question, You have an answer, and based on the answer they give you, they come up with a portion of the lead magnet or a part of the lead magnet, and that basically then is supported by an underlying fact or an underlying desire that your market or problem that that your market wants to have solved. Okay, so we start with where they want to be, and we work back to what we want out of the marketing. So your needs are also met while satisfying or being relevant to your marketplace. Okay, so I hope that kind of gives you a bit of an idea about how to go from planning your entire marketing all the way through to where you're going to use a decision tree so you can have many, and then how to think about planning it out, and then the answers and then the questions you're going to come up with, all the way through to you making sure that the questions and answers you're asking are not just for opt-ins or to get a high number of people giving you the name and email, but at the end of the day needs to tie back to your sales and your products that you want to sell to them. And that's and so ensure that you are catering for that during this entire process. Okay, I know this video is run a bit long, but I wanted to make sure that you just don't go and start making quizzes just because something looks like a quiz or decision tree is going to work. No, it may work, but it's good that you tie it back in to the thing that is relevant to your marketplace, while at the same time satisfying your own needs as the business owner. Because if you're not going to make a profit out of this, then you're not going to be around very long to serve your marketplace. And in that case, nobody benefits. Your marketplace does not benefit, and neither do you. Okay, so I hope that sort of gives you a good understanding about how to go from your marketing process all the way through to making sure that you're relevant to your customers, while at the same time making sure that you look after yourself. Thank you. Bye for now.